from then.
You see this shit?
But he kept going. So we're gonna see, man. There's a lot
I
going on
actually
here.
bet on this game. I bet on this game, and I'm hitting up all the mother. Look at that shit.
Oh my damn.
Yeah, I bet on that right there. I lost money on that right there, so I'm gonna reach out to him.
What's his over under on turnovers?
I'm gonna reach out to him on some hood shit. Huh?
What was his over under on turnovers that game?
What's reach out to him on some hood shit mean, homie? Do you know? Like, if people don't realize, like, it means like
you gonna press his ass and he'll give you money.
What's press mean though? Like, you gotta talk to the wife. What's press mean?
So basically, what JB is alluding to is he's going to go have an aggressive conversation with Terry Rozier about what happened on that play because JB lost actual money, and it seems like Terry Rozier did something on purpose in a cheating manner in order so he could make some money, right? So JB's going to walk to him and approach him in an aggressive manner and give him two options: either A, give me my money with a little extra on top, or B, I'm going to have to physically harm you in some manner.
So for the audio listeners, thank you for that.
All right. Shalom, shalom. Call Halayim La, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash, as well as a double honors upon to the apostles and elders of GMS, Great Millstone, whom I've learned this truth under. Okay, this being titled, You Can't Fake Jake. Okay, as well as, the Israelites have been scattered abroad. All right, and you can't fake Jake. I got that term or that saying from the elder Jeremiah of the GMS Chicago camp. Okay, and this guy right here on the left, Coach Jason Brown, is clearly an Israelite. You just see how he walk, how he talk, how he act, who he hang around with. He's got all the characteristics and mannerisms of an Israelite, but he don't look like one. And the Lord willing this be edifying, the purpose of this video is to bring the message to not judge by appearance. Okay, because this guy clearly is Jake, man. And Jacob, when we say Jake, we referring to the 12 tribes of Israel. So you got people that identify, to the naked eye, identifiably look like these people on the chart, but as well, we've been scattered across all four corners of the earth. So you're going to have Israelites that look like a so-called Chinese person. You're going to have Israelites that look like a so-called white person. You're going to have Israelites that look like a so-called Indian person. So it's not about appearance. Okay, so let's just get straight to it. Speaking on our people, the Heavenly Father, as a punishment, have scattered us into all four corners of the earth. So that's why, a lot of brethren, to start the videos, they'll give, double honors to the apostles, shalom amongst Israel, but they'll also speak on the speckled birds, the speckled birds being the Israelites that don't actually have the appearance of an Israelite. Okay, that's why we got to try the spirit, because there's a lot of people that might come up to the camp, or you might meet in your everyday life, that don't readily look like an Israelite, but still could be one of our people. Okay, so this is Baruch 4, verse 4 through 6. O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to Yahweh are made known unto us. Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel. Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved Yahweh to wrath, ye were delivered unto your enemies. Okay, and as a punishment, following the scriptures speak, follow not the ways of the heathen. Okay, we have the true power of heaven and earth, and we've, through our disobedience, have worshiped other gods, worshiped other idols, and followed the ways of these heathen nations, where the Holy Bible's law, statutes, and commandments weren't made for them. It was made strictly for Israel. Matter of fact, let me pull this one up about our punishments. Damn, can't spell. This is Amos, the 3rd chapter. We'll start at the top. Hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. Okay, so when people talk about, God loves everyone, that's nonsense. That's madness. It clearly says in Malachi 1 verse 4 that he hates Esau. Okay. correction, that would be specifically Malachi 1 verse 3. Okay, the Malachi 1 verse 1 through 4 speaks on the Lord's hatred for Esau, Edom, and tearing down his kingdom, which we're witnessing right now. Just want to correct that. Okay, but you gonna have Israelites, Esau being the so-called WHITEs. You gonna have Israelites with that same exact appearance. Okay, so that's what, it can get confusing. But we don't judge by strictly appearance. We got to try the spirit. Going back in the book of Baruch, let's get the 4th chapter once again on us, a punishment. That punishment spoken on in Amos, the 3rd chapter, is being scattered into all these other heathen nations, okay, and being the bottom, being in a state of subjection underneath these heathen nations. This is Baruch 2, verse 4. Moreover, he had delivered them to be in subjection to all the kingdoms that are round about us, to be as a reproach and a desolation among all the people round about, where the Lord hath scattered them. Okay, so we gonna have Israelites all around all 4 corners of the earth. Okay, that's part of our punishment. But in these latter days, through the speaking of this word, the Lord he's bringing back a remnant, the elect. Lord willing, we be of that number, a small elect, the 1/3 of Israel, into remembrance of who we are. It speaks about that, I believe, further down. Yep, Baruch 2 verse 30. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. And that's not all the Israelites. That's a remnant is going to come back to remembrance. 2/3 of our people going to fall by the sword on this side. Lord willing, we're not of that. But staying on the topic of this video, this guy clearly, he too much salt, man. And the scriptures speak on our people having salt, pursuant to Matthew 5 verse 13. Salt is what? Flavor. Okay. And the Jake has a way about him, a presence, how he walks, how we talk, even so this guy right here, here's a comment on this coach. May have white skin, but dude is a brother. Okay. And you see, people don't understand that, how, you gonna have Israelites that don't look like Israelites, but clearly are Israelites. This is real quick. Listen how this guy talks, man.
The ball, I won it and we took the ball. Fuck him. Should sock his bitch ass in the face. You motherfuckers better be ready to play. I should have socked his bitch ass in the face. Hey, that motherfucker said I can't coach. Shit.
Okay, and one of the characteristics you can see, of an Israelite foreigner is, especially on the plantation, I used to drive buses in Las Vegas, and you would see so-called white dudes, but they'd always be hanging around the so-called black and Mexican guys. That's because really they was Israelites, okay? You gonna always gravitate to your own people. This guy, Coach JB, you gonna always see him hanging out with Jake because he is one, okay? And he broke down. He said, explain that for the white folk. Okay, explain what on some hood shit means. Explain what press means. He was just telling you he don't identify as an Edomite, because we know the Edomites are so-called WHITE people. But those are, nobody's the color black. Nobody's the color white. Those are social constructs created by Esau, Edom, because he's as the book of Genesis describes, he's a vagabond. He's trying to hide from he'll be everyone in history but Esau, Edom, because he don't want to be revealed for that devil that he truly is. But again, we gonna have some of our people that have the appearance of Esau, Edom, but it's really Jake. Okay, and that's determined by the seed of your father. Let's get this in Numbers. Okay, Numbers 1. And this is verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the 2nd month. And they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, by their polls. So, for example, if I have a bunch of so-called black sons and I send them to Southeast Asia and they pop a bunch of Southeast Asian women, and then their sons continue to pop more Southeast Asian women, over time, those sons are going to have the appearance of the people in that land. But still, their seed line goes back to me. Okay, so once again, you gonna have a lot of Israelites that don't readily look like Israelites. I've met a guy as an Uber driver in Vegas who I thought off appearance was a so-called Chinese guy, and that was a straight Jake, man. He was talking hella shit. He was funny. He was giving me game about truck driving. You know what I'm saying? He dapped me up at the end. Wouldn't no normal Moabite do that. No so-called Chinese person do that. But that was an Israelite. Okay, so it's wise to not judge by appearance and judge by the spirit. Okay, let's get some examples. Okay, this guy in the center right here, Steve Kim, he has the appearance of an Asian so-called Moabite, but he could be Jake as well. He's funny as hell. He be making too many references that Jake can relate to, where he, to not be an Israelite. So he could easily be an Israelite, but don't look like one. Another example is this Boston sports radio show. This is called Gasper and Murray. This guy on the left right here has the appearance of a so-called light-skinned black dude. And then this guy on the right has the appearance of a white guy. But this guy right here is a pure Edomite, man. This is an Edomite, okay? And we gonna prove it. This is his parents. We judge by the seed of your father. You are who your father is. This is his daddy right here. And once again, bringing up Matthew 5, verse 13, Jake got a certain way about him, even maybe a nerdy Jake. There's going to be certain characteristics that our people have, in particular that our men have, that we can relate to. And this guy, he don't got nothing about his spirit that would relate to a so-called Israelite, because really he's an Edomite. Okay, his mama is an Israelite, or has the appearance of one, but really his daddy is an Edomite, and you could tell because he ain't got no salt. This guy, he's a weirdo. Okay, but again, you can't judge just because his father could be a so-called white guy. Don't mean he's not an Israelite as well. Because look at Bob Marley, his daddy. Okay, we gonna say Bob Marley's not an Israelite because of the appearance of his dad? No, his dad was obviously a Jake too. Another example that I'm not sure on is the current NBA star Paolo Banchero on the Orlando Magic. Okay, he has the appearance of a light-skinned Jake, but really his daddy's what would be a so-called white guy. It says Banchero's father, Mario, and his uncle played college football for Washington. His parents met while attending the University of Washington. Banchero is of African-American descent. Okay, and we're not that. We're Israelites. We're not African. We're not American. Okay, on his mother's side and of the Italian descent on his father's side. And we know a lot of our people are Italians. Okay, and that goes back to the ancient Roman Empire. Okay, Sicily. We got a lot of our people scattered amongst the Italians. We also got a lot of our people scattered amongst the Scottish and Irish. So his dad could easily be an Israelite as well, but have the appearance of a so-called white guy. So we just gotta judge by the spirit. So let's get that. And Lord willing, this was edifying. It can get a little confusing, especially people new to the faith. But we don't just judge by appearance. We could see someone that don't look like a so-called black person, so-called Hispanic person, but just by their spirit could tell that's one of our people. Going back to this guy, Jason Brown, he talking hella shit, and he always hanging out with Jake. He sound like Jake. And in particular, he grew up in Compton too. He grew up in Compton, so them curses are another identifier. The curses spoken on in Deuteronomy 28, okay, being in an impoverished state. That's another indication, okay, of him being one of our people. This is Romans 8, verse 16. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahweh. Okay. And then, man, so you just, to Lord willing, this was edifying to get the point through that you're going to have Israelites that look like all these nations. Okay. But at the end of the day, they go back to that same seed line, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay. This guy is not no damn Edomite. He don't go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Esau. Okay. He goes to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And you could tell. Okay, Esau don't got that same spirit. You could tell Esau got hatred for our people. All right, this guy is clearly a bro. All right, I hope that this was edifying. Shalom.